And I got a feeling that she'll have no problem doing it again if necessary. I'm more interested in the Indiana Fever, and I'm specifically interested in Sophie Cunningham and what they are now calling Tres Leches. Sophie Cunningham continues to be the WNBA's shining new star. She's Caitlin Clark's sidekick at this point. All it took was a little bit of rough justice on the court. I'm specifically interested in Sophie Cunningham and what they are now calling Tres Leches. Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham, and Lexie Hull, that particular trio has adopted the nickname, or I guess it's been given to them more appropriately, Tres Leches. And if you're wondering what Tres Leches is, as I did, it is a sponge cake that uses 3 types of milk. 3 types of milk cake. I don't know what it is, but I like these 3 women.
It's delicious.
Call them whatever you want to call them, yeah. But that's the t-shirt that we saw Sophie Cunningham rolling up in there. And the Indiana Fever continues to be the most compelling thing in the WNBA. Sophie Cunningham continues to be the WNBA's shining new star. She's Caitlin Clark's sidekick at this point. It's Batwoman and Sophie is what we have going on. And, of course, Sophie Cunningham, man, what a meteoric rise. All it took was a little bit of rough justice on the court, sticking up for Caitlin Clark after she was poked in the eye by J.C. Sheldon of the Connecticut Sun and then pushed to the ground by the Sun's Marina Mabrey. Everybody got on board, and it was Sophie Cunningham mania happening around the country. And Sophie was asked about the role that she sees for herself with the Indiana Fever and what exactly went down in that situation where she got into a scuffle with J.C. Sheldon on a breakaway. And let's listen to what the
be me. I don't go in there trying
to
to predetermine anything. I'm dialed in. I need to focus on hitting my shots, making sure I'm executing the schemes right. I'm not focused on the extracurricular activities. And you know what? During that, it was just part of the game. I think the refs had a lot to do with that. It was a build-up for a couple of years now of them just not protecting, the star player of the WNBA. And so at the end of the day, I'm going to protect my teammates. That's what I do.
So there's confirmation from Sophie Cunningham that she had to wreck a chick in order to protect the star of not only the Indiana Fever, but the entire fucking league, and she did just that. And I got a feeling that she'll have no problem doing it again if necessary. So maybe we have entered a new phase of the Caitlin Clark era in the WNBA, one where you stop and think for a minute before you fuck with her. Because you're going to get fucked with yourself, and Sophie Cunningham will be the one administering the beatdown. So, Tres Leches. It's got a ring to it. That's not a bad-looking shirt, but the Fever, unfortunately, not faring quite as well on the court, losing to the Las Vegas Aces last night. League MVP A'ja Wilson putting up 24 points, and Caitlin Clark not having her best shooting night in the game, and so a loss for the Fever. Wilson, one of 5 aces in double figures in the game. Aaliyah Boston led the Fever with 26 points, but Caitlin Clark, 1 of 10 from three-point range. So next time you have a bad day, just remember, sometimes Caitlin Clark goes to the office and goes 1 for 10 from long distance. So the Indiana Fever continue to be compelling, and the Indiana Pacers come up empty last night, and what a frustrating way for it all to go down, losing Tyrese Halliburton to an Achilles injury early in the game. And what a stomach punch that has to be for everybody who is an Indiana Pacers fan. Sometimes it's just not in the cards. Maybe it's just not meant to be. And you got to feel that way when you lose your star to an injury in Game 7 of the NBA Finals. Maybe it just wasn't supposed to happen. People are having fun with Stephen A. Smith still. We know that Stephen A. is America's foremost solitaire player. And take a look at this. How Stephen A. Smith found out about the injury. There. That's pretty good. That falls in the category of, I wish I'd thought of that. Good shit right there. But look, please, let's leave the Seattle Supersonics out of this. All right? Can we leave them out of it? As I said at the top of the show, I saw somewhere somebody said it's the Oklahoma City Thunder's first NBA championship in 45 years. It would actually be 46, but who's counting? No. You don't get to claim 1979, motherfucker. That belongs to Marvin Webster and Dennis Johnson and Downtown Freddie Brown and Jack Sikma and those guys. And it didn't have a goddamn thing to do with Oklahoma City or your fine array of fried pies that you have there. I will give you that. This is like the Ravens. It's like the Browns and the Ravens. The Seattle Supersonics, listen, I hold out hope they're coming back one day. I'm the guy who still has faith that the Seattle Supersonics will be back one day. I'm the guy who still has faith that the Montreal Expos are going to emerge from the fucking cornfield like the fucking Black Sox in Field of Dreams. And one day, everything will be restored to the way that it should be. But when it happens, let the Seattle Supersonics have their own franchise history. The Thunder are the Baltimore Ravens. You're not the real deal. So let's not pretend that you are. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, however, is the real deal. And is he ever? Winning the 2025 Finals MVP on the heels of winning the season MVP, Western Conference Finals MVP. But look, man, you put yourself in rarefied air when you are the MVP of the league and then you go win a championship and you're the MVP of the finals. You have joined a very exclusive club. A club that contains names such as Willis Reed, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Moses Malone, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, of course, Hakeem Olajuwon, Shaquille O'Neal, Tim Duncan, and yeah, LeBron James. It's pretty good company to be in. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has put a stamp on the 2025 season. He certainly validated his MVP award. I was a Jokic guy. I was pushing for Jokic. But you know what? After seeing the playoffs, I'll admit Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was the right choice for MVP during the regular season. And if I could go back and have a do-over, I would put him first and Jokic second. I'm impressed as hell with what I've seen. And here's one for you that is maybe the most impressive of all, arguably, among all of the SGA stats that are pretty fucking cool. He averaged 32.7 points a game during the regular season. That is now the most in a title-winning season in NBA history, passing Michael Jordan, who averaged 32.6 during the 1992-1993 season. So anytime you see yourself in a split screen with Michael Jordan and you're being compared favorably to something that the GOAT did, I got to respect it. I got to have nothing but respect for it. I don't love the way that the Sonics left Seattle, but I do love the way that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander plays basketball. The city of New York doesn't love LeBron James, however. Fanatics Fest taking place over the weekend in Manhattan, and LeBron James showing up and being greeted in, let's just say, not the warmest fashion ever by the New York fans.
You just don't do it. That's how you are, LeBron. You don't even do it in Paris. You was pushing those niggas away like, Get out of here, LeBron. Go back to L.A. Don't come to New York with that Boo! Boo! LeBron! You never beat Jordan. You never beat Jordan, my Oh, Kobe! You bum! Oh, Kobe, you bum!
So you want to be a celebrity, do you? I don't know. I guess it's still a pretty good deal for LeBron, but wherever he goes, wherever you go, LeBron, God bless you. I don't dislike you, but you'll never be Michael Jordan. You'll never be Michael Jordan. You're going to hear that for the rest of your fucking life. But when you go back to your mansion at night and put your head on the pillow that's probably stuffed with $100 bills, you'll probably be okay anyway. But I don't think LeBron had as much fun in New York this weekend as I did, because I had a hell of a time. I had a very fine time, in fact. Take a look at a little bit of the fine time that I had. Got to work with a groundskeeper at Yankee Stadium. How random and wonderful is that? Have we got fucking footage here? or do we not?
You hot?
There we
Little
go.
bit.
There's Shane.
A little bit. Yeah.
That's my boy Shane.
That's refreshing. Yeah. There
Giving
you
me
go.
a little,
That's nice.
Giving me a little spritz. And then there I am just walking on the field at Yankee Stadium like that's fucking normal. And I was impressed with the ballpark. I'm not going to lie. I was pretty impressed with the ballpark. I've heard mixed reviews. You got to stop and get a picture. Right there. You know, I am, after all, a fan. And so, pretty good stuff. Meeting up with Aaron Boone. We'll have that a little bit later in the program for you. Aaron Boone filling out his 80s hair bands lineup card for me, which was a lot of fun, I got to tell you. And, you know, you never know, I guess, who you'll meet at Yankee Stadium. I bumped into these fellas while I was there. It was unexpected, but it gave me an opportunity.
Babe Ruth. If you
have
like
a little
shit
moment.
like this, sign up for Ricky Cobb's Rewind. Just go to OutKick.com/newsletters. Ricky Cobb's Rewind, your bi-weekly source of all things Ricky Cobb Show and Super 70 Sports. Right, Mick? Yeah, Mick says yes. What do you say, babe?
That's the first time I've ever been in a group photo and had the smallest head, by the way. So that was a milestone for me at age 53. Finally, I'm in a situation where I look around and I have the petite cranium. It took over a half of a fucking century, but there we are. But it's been a big weekend for bobbleheads. Ice Cube, honored by the Los Angeles Dodgers getting his own bobblehead and feeling pretty good about it. You can see here tweeting out, I want to thank the Dodgers organization for creating this Ice Cube bobblehead. You've made an LA kid's dreams come true. Thanks for letting me be part of history. I don't know, man. Getting your own bobblehead, that's a fucking moment. I haven't checked that box yet. Maybe one of these days, but take a look at Cube there. Yeah, looking good. Nothing at all wrong with that. It's been an active time out in Los Angeles and in the state of California. Gavin Newsom in the news. This is a weird one when I saw it. Tweeting out that he's protecting lowriders. Da 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 da. Newsom tweeting in October 2023. I signed AB 436, ending a 40-year ban on lowrider cruising, a proud cultural and artistic tradition of Mexican Americans in California. Today on California Lowrider Holiday, Ron, how did you celebrate California Lowrider Holiday?
I actually went slow and low. I was actually opposite. I went slow and low.
I've been told that is the tempo.
I like how you caught that. I like how you caught that.
Yeah. Celebrating what he says is a defining part of the Golden State. Pander much? All I'm hearing is pander there.
Wait, what was that response underneath it?
Well, we got an individual who said, but your electric vehicle mandate would get rid of them. You really are an idiot. We're celebrating it, but once I mandate electric vehicles, you can take your lowrider and drive it straight to Tijuana. buddy, because you can't have it in the state of California, which, it's like the latest Gavin Newsom thing. It got me thinking here. I don't know. I made a little something, Ron. There you go. It's Gavin Newsom. He's the low IQ rider out there with his with his vehicle. I don't know. Buckle up for safety and maybe grab some Neosporin while you're at it, motherfucker, because I remember what seat belts used to be like when I was a kid. Ronnie, you remember these? Chance that you actually wore this seatbelt when you were a kid, 1.8%. Chance that you burned your legs on it all summer long, 1,000,000%. I can't tell you how many times I hopped in a car with my mom when I was 10, 11, 12 years old, wearing those little short shorts that we've been talking about on the show, Ron, where you got a testicle about ready to emerge at any time and pop out like Punxsutawney Phil, see if it sees its shadow or not. You just hope that you didn't catch your scrot on one of those. I'll tell you that right now.
Get that GM logo branded on
driving the Buick Regal to the hospital. Yeah, branding yourself like cattle. Why does your scrotum say GM, Ricky? I don't want to talk about it. I had an unfortunate childhood accident, and it's still very traumatic to me. Oh my God. Ronnie, it was a different era in which we live, but I got to tell you, man, Yankee Stadium was a lot of fun. We got more stuff coming up. We're going to have the footage of Boone, but it was so much fun. It's only the second time I've ever been to a Yankee Stadium. Last time was about 25 years ago. I made it to the old ballpark and soaked in a little bit of that history. And I was a little worried that the new park was not going to feel historic because only one championship has occurred there. And obviously Babe Ruth didn't patrol the outfield there. And Reggie Jackson wasn't launching historic October bombs there. But it did feel like Yankees history being in that ballpark. I thought it was quite beautiful on the inside. I think they've done a great job with it. And based on the scouting reports that I've gotten since it opened in, I think 2009 was the year it opened. I'm going to say that it exceeded my expectations, Ron. It's a pretty damn nice ballpark.
Yeah, and looks like you were a good luck charm too. What'd they win? Like 7-0, 8-0, something like that?
They won 9-0 and only gave up one hit. Yeah. They took a no-hitter into the 8th inning. Their starter, Clark Schmidt, went 7 innings, no hit. Boone pulled him because he was like 103 pitches. And then brought in a reliever, and the reliever gave up a single to lead off the 8th inning. But it was the only hit that the Orioles were able to muster.
Yeah,
during the game. So yeah,
what more could you ask for? A ton of runs and then great pitching, like awesome,
some
like
homers,
you get everything.
Yeah. Is it a coincidence that I show up and Aaron Boone fills out the 80s hairbands lineup card, and then the Yankees go out and have their best game probably in over a week? I got to go meet up with our friend of the program, the Yankees manager, Aaron Boone, and I got him to fill out his 80s hairbands lineup card. Let's take a look.
You got the most high-pressure job in baseball.
We're good.
Look at you. You eat pressure for breakfast.
That's right.
All right. So here's the deal.
Okay.
I'm not going to ask you about baseball. You've been answering baseball questions. I'm going to give you your option. I want you to fill out a lineup card for me.
Okay.
Your choice. I got 9 options here. Classic arcade.
Ooh.
Or 80s hairbands.
Hairbands.
All right, there it is. That's an easy decision. That's why we did
So this is my lineup. So
yeah, this is your lineup according to you. So now here's the deal. There are no rules here except for you got 9. So you can rank them 1 to 9, or you can look at them as though they were players and do the lineup that way. However you feel it. But give me your analysis.
Okay.
As you're doing it.
All right. I'm leading off with Motley Crue.
All
We're gonna
right.
get this party started. Lord knows they knew how to party and get a party started on
There it is.
on the Sunset Strip. So and they're like, of all these, and I love them all. Motley's those are my guys. So Motley Crue right out of the chute, we're going with it.
Did you hear the new version of Home Sweet Home they put out with Dolly Parton?
I did not.
All right. Well,
on it.
apparently that's a real thing. It's a new release.
Okay, I'm
So
gonna
you'll
hit
have to
that
check.
up on,
Yeah,
on the
you
ride
got
home.
something to do after the game. All right.
All right. Since we're in the 80s, the two hitters a little more old school. Move this thing along, keep it moving.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that with Poison, because Poison's a little bit of my guilty pleasure hair band. They're not as rugged as like the Guns N' Roses, Motley. They're a little more, superficial, but I love them, man. I mean, Fallen Angel. I mean, let's go.
Brett Michaels.
Oh,
You know.
he was my neighbor actually in Arizona for a couple years. But I've been to, of all these on this list, Motley Crue and Poison. I've been to Poison 3 times in my life. I've been to Motley 3 times in my life. So those are my two that I've gone and watched and loved. Like,
Was it a Poison show where you and the guys?
yeah, in
Yeah,
Chicago.
yeah.
So when I was with the Reds in 2000, I think we went in 2002. There's a great picture out there. I have it in my phone. I can pull up. We flew into Chicago, landed, car service from the runway right out to whatever the outdoor amphitheater is in Chicago. Poison, unbelievable concert, unbelievable day. So they're hitting second and moving this thing along. Third, I'm gonna go with maybe the big time success here, and that's Bon Jovi.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, shot through the heart. Probably kicked off a lot of my love of all this music, like that, and what's the slower ballad on Slippery When Wet?
Wanted Dead or Alive.
Yeah, love it. Just him looking out the plane window at everything. That's me on the plane. Like I look out, it gives me a perspective when I look down on the land. So Bon Jovi hitting third.
He was riding a steel horse.
Yes,
Boone.
he was. Yes,
Yeah.
he was.
Now this is a big spot right here
a big
because
spot.
back in the '80s,
So
this is the heavy hitter.
oh man, you know what? This might surprise you, but I'm going Rat.
Oh man,
Round and round.
my girlfriend is going to be so pleased.
Rat. I feel
Stephen
like
Piercy.
is so underrated. And is Steve Piercy's the lead singer? Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
there's like a coolness to him. Like you see some of the old '80s footage, and he's kind of almost in the background of some of these big stars, but he's just got some great aura to him. They're cleaning it
You
up.
just validated this entire concept with that selection, by the way.
That's good.
All right.
Hitting fifth, you know what? You can't go wrong with Def Leppard. Just longevity, probably the most sane of this whole group. They've kind of made it through. Drummer had a big accident, kept on ticking. They almost maybe even got better.
Yeah.
Like every album was just solid. I had a walk. I used one of their songs as a walk-up song when I was playing. What's the somewhere in the distance?
Yeah.
I hear the bells ring. Yeah, that was Darkness.
Man, how could you not have been ready when you got in the box after walking up to that?
Exactly. So 6. Let's just go GNR.
All right.
I don't want to say I wasn't a GNR fan because I absolutely was, but I feel like on this list you can make a case that Guns N' Roses was the most popular.
Yeah.
Like my wife loved Guns N' Roses. I know growing up, I know so many people that just loved them, but they were definitely liked them, but not on some of the sentimental level of some of these others. So I'm going to go GNR 6.
Respectable.
Yes. Let's see. I'm going to go Cinderella 7. I think Cinderella is maybe the most underrated as I look at this list, maybe Rat and Cinderella. Cinderella's great. Like, that guy's voice, amazing. Like, it's a go-to song of mine. At least once a month, I'll put on a little Cinderella and let it eat. So I'm going with them 7. Where are we at? Who do I have left? Whitesnake and
Sebastian Bach is your other
Skid
option.
Row.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Whitesnake, 8. I mean, maybe one of the most epic videos ever with Tawny Katane.
Legendary.
So definitely solid and good. And the only reason I'm going 9 on Skid Row is because I want a double leadoff hitter, and I sneaky love Skid Row. What's their ballad? The slow one.
God, dude.
It's
I'm
maybe
blanking.
my favorite slow one of all of these. Maybe not. I love Home Sweet Home though, and Wanted Dead or Alive. But Skid Row, I Remember You.
Okay,
I remember, and
that's it.
And all the girls that I liked in middle school and high school all liked Sebastian Bach, so I was kind of jealous of them too.
Now, before you sign it and make it official, who's not in that lineup that you could see maybe getting like a pinch hit appearance in a game there?
I don't know. I mean, honestly, you nailed like my happy zone, but with these 9,
were you a winger guy?
Nope.
Yeah.
You know what? There was a
Quiet Riot.
no. I mean, there's a no. Who is the Christian?
Striper.
Striper.
Fucking Striper.
Striper. So I tried to add some Striper to this list to keep my mom happy.
Yeah.
And I kind of got into it a little bit. So Striper would be coming off the bench.
All right. Yeah.
If one of these guys probably hung over, I could sub in Striper.
Striper. Yeah. Very, very. All right. Sign it and make it official. Make it proper. This is going to go on the Ricky Cobb Show Wall of Fame that we're going to create.
Awesome.
First ever.
That was fun. Great to see you.
There you have it. Great to see you too, man. Thank you. Pleasure. Go out and win one.
Yep.